Hello, I wanted to share with you some very important math that you will need to master for this week and week 2 in particular, and then we'll use it throughout the rest of our semester. Some terms that you want to be familiar with is the acronym AMDR, Acceptable Macronutrient Distribution Ranges. And those ranges are for carbohydrate. A healthy person should have 45 to 65% of calories coming from carbohydrate. Fat. A healthy person should have 20 to 35% of calories coming from fat. Protein. A healthy person should have 10 to 35% of their calories coming from protein. Okay? Like your text outlined, carbohydrates provide 4 calories per gram, fat 9 calories per gram, and protein 4 calories per gram. So many students remember the 494 or 449. Just know that fat is over 2 times more calorically dense than carbohydrate and protein of those macronutrients. Those are the nutrients that are providing energy versus the micronutrients, vitamins and minerals, which do not provide any energy or calories. So in order to use any of this information, we need to start with a basic calorie calculation. If you completed the My Plate exercise where you put in your height and weight and sex and activity level and it gave you a number of calories that you needed per day, you can utilize that. Or you can utilize this very, very basic calorie calculation where you take 25 to 30 calories per kilogram of body weight. So for example, a 155-pound person, we would divide by 2.2 to get their weight in kilograms, 70.4. And then we take that by and multiply by 25 to get 1,761 calories. And then we'll take the higher range, which would be multiply weight in kilograms by 30 to get 2,112 calories. So for all of the calculations below that I'm going to go over, I use this higher number of 2,112 calories. So for instance, using that acceptable macronutrient distribution range, I'm going to figure out how many calories I need from carbohydrates and then take it a step further and figure out how many grams of carbohydrate I need per day. So for carbohydrate, I'm going to start with 2,112 calories, and I'm going to multiply by 0.45. Where did I get that number? That's from this AMDR, Acceptable Macronutrient Distribution Range. I come up with 950 calories from carbohydrate. Okay, you will notice through all my examples that I clearly label everything, and that's so I know what I'm trying to find here. If a test question asks you how many calories from carbohydrate, I want a number like this, 950 calories. If I ask you how many grams of carbohydrate, then it would be a much smaller number because we're taking the calories from carbohydrate and dividing by 4 to get 238 grams of carbohydrate per day. Why am I dividing by 4? We're going to look up here and see those macronutrients. Carbohydrate, 4 calories per gram, fat, 9 calories per gram, protein, 4 calories per gram. So then I'm just going to take and do the upper range for the carbohydrates from the acceptable macronutrient distribution ranges. Okay, if I take my 2,112 calories, multiply by 0.65, I get 1,372 calories from carbohydrate. I divide that by 4, and I get 343 grams of carbohydrate per day. So for someone who weighs 155 pounds, their carbohydrate amount should be between 238 grams and 343 grams of carbohydrate per day. Now you might be thinking that this seems very high. I agree with you. So this would be what I would recommend for somebody who is, an athlete, endurance runner, distance runner, competitive athlete. I think that's on the high end. But look, you can do the same thing with fat then. You're going to use the same calories to start with, but you're just going to change the percentage that you're multiplying by based on the AMDR. Okay? And then the other thing for fat that's different is you're going to divide by 9 to get the grams of fat.